Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever looked at a really slick, modern website and just wondered, how on earth did they build that? Well, today, we're not just going to answer that question. We're going to do it ourselves. We are going to go from a totally blank screen to a running React application. And you'll see it's way more achievable than you think. Let's jump right in.
So, here's our game plan for this little adventure. First up, our quest. What even is React? Then, we'll get our digital toolkit ready. After that, the really fun part. We use a single command, like a magic spell, to create our app, and then I'll show you how to find your way around the project. Finally, we'll add our own little creative spark before looking ahead to what's next.
All right, first things first. Our quest? What is React? Really? It's the secret sauce behind so many of the websites and apps we use every single day. And we're about to pull back the curtain.
Okay, so the official definition is that React is a JavaScript library made by Facebook. A library is just a bunch of pre-written code that helps us build stuff faster. Its main job is building user interfaces, which is, everything you actually see and click on. But the real magic, the part that changed everything, is that it does all this using reusable components. That last part is the key.
Honestly, the best way to think about these reusable components is to picture them as digital Legos. Seriously, you can build one little perfect piece, like a search bar or a like button, and then you can just pop that same piece in anywhere else you need it over and over again. It makes building complex things so much more organized and, frankly, faster. All right, let's gear up. Section 2 is all about preparation. Just like a chef needs their knives or a painter needs their brushes, we need to set up our digital workshop before we can start building.
The good news is we only need 3 things. First, you'll need Node.js. Think of this as the engine that lets us run JavaScript, the language of the web, right on our computer, not just in a browser. Second, a code editor. Something like VS Code is super popular. This is literally your workshop where you'll write the blueprints. And finally, the terminal. It might look a little old school, but it's just how we give direct commands to our computer.
And now for the really cool part. I call this section the incantation, because we're about to use a command that honestly feels like a magic spell. It handles all the boring, complicated setup stuff for us and just, poof, gives us a perfect foundation to start building on.
The spell has 3 simple parts. First, you'll go to your terminal and type npx create react app, followed by whatever you want to name your app. This one command builds out the entire folder structure for you. It's amazing. Step 2, you just navigate into that new folder using the cd command. And finally, npm start. This command fires up a little web server on your computer and opens your app right in your browser.
And just like that, it's alive. Your browser will open a new tab to an address called localhost 3000. And you will see your brand new React app, spanning away. Seriously, pause for a second and appreciate this. You just used a few words to bring a web application to life. That is a huge first step.
Okay, so that magic command probably created a whole bunch of files and folders, right? I know it can look a little overwhelming at first, but don't worry. We can just treat it like a map to our new little world. And for now, we only need to pay attention to 3 main spots.
These are the only 3 files you need to worry about right now. In the public folder, you've got index.html. That's the actual single web page your browser sees. It's like the empty shell of your house. Then in the src folder, you'll find index.js. This is the entry point, the front door for all of our React code. And its main job? To fire up app.js, which is our main top-level component. It's the first big Lego piece that all the other pieces will eventually snap into.
So here's the trick. This is how it all connects. Our JavaScript, specifically index.js, takes our entire application, everything that starts with that app.js component, and it injects the whole thing into one specific little spot inside our index.html file. And that spot is just a simple, empty div with an ID of root. That's it. Your entire complex interactive app lives inside that one little container.
Okay, now we're at section 5, the Spark. We've seen the default app, which is cool, but let's be honest, we want to make our own thing. This is the moment where you get to breathe your own creative spark into this project and build your very first custom component.
So let's build our first custom Lego. It's going to be a simple JavaScript function that we'll call welcome. Now notice it takes something called props as an argument. Props is short for properties, and you can think of it as a little delivery package. It's how we pass information into our component. The function then just returns a little bit of HTML that says hello and then displays whatever name we pass into it through those props.
So how do we actually use this thing? It's a two-step process. First, in a new file, we create our welcome component just like we saw. Then, back in our main app.js file, we just import it right at the top. And now check this out. We can use it just like a normal HTML tag. See how we wrote welcome name equals learner? That name equals learner part, that's us putting the data into the delivery package. React then passes that package to our component where it becomes props.name.
And that brings us to our final section, the horizon. We've actually come a really long way in a short time. So let's just take a quick breath, acknowledge what we've done, and then look ahead at all the cool things you can do with this new power.
No, really, I want this to sink in for a second. Congratulations! You started with absolutely nothing but a few tools and an idea, and now you have built and customized a real, working React application. You understand the core ideas, and you've actually done it. That is awesome.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. You've taken the first and, honestly, the hardest step. You've learned the magic incantation to create a new world from scratch, and you found the spark to bring your own ideas to life inside it. So now that you can create, what will you build next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep on building.